Hey guys, I just wanted to make a video here talking about some of the updates with the season generator version 1.5. It's a pretty hefty update, it's a lot smarter now, and it comes with a bunch of new features, so let's go ahead and get into it. So you're going to be greeted with a data safety notice. This basically is just describing that I haven't experienced any data loss during testing, but it's always a good idea to have a backup of all your information before you use any software really. So just go ahead and make sure you have a backup. You can click to not show that again and dive in. So first and foremost, the season generator. So the core functionality of the season generator is the same. It hasn't really changed at all, but it's a lot smarter now. So before, mile ovals, medium ovals, and long ovals were considered intermediate tracks, and now they are kind of blown out to align with how the game recognizes these tracks. And what that fixes is a lot of track type categorization issues, and then a lot of dirt track issues as well. So dirt can be any one of these configurations really. So that is now a surface type. It's not a track type anymore. And then I also have another tag here for fantasy, and then a tag for papyrus tracks as well. So let's just go ahead and jump into the new things with Generate Season. It's going to take a little bit longer to load this stuff because it's a lot more accurate. Before, it was doing a lot of guessing and filling in the blanks on its own. And now it's actually like reading the track INI. It's reading the DAT file. It's reading the READMEs and pulling all the information from there and making sure that it's accurate when it loads. So you're going to get a lot less miscategorizations. And if you're getting any miscategorizations, the first place you want to check is your track INI or the actual files, because sometimes the creators are miscategorizing things themselves as well, which I have come to find in my own testing. So when you open up the season generator here, you're going to get an option for track pool. This hasn't changed, but what has changed is that there's a fantasy tracks option, and then now there's a dirt tracks option. So if you just want to do all dirt tracks or all fantasy tracks, you can do that. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. We've got a updated schedule style, so you can do so the schedule style is how it picks the tracks, and so you can tell it to do a balanced kind of track picker. You can do random, you can do a real season mix where you can pick the actual kind of series it's going to represent, but it'll kind of fill in with some different tracks, and then you can do an actual strict historical season. So let's just go ahead and do a balanced schedule style, and then you can tell it how to organize the tracks that it picks. So I've renamed this stuff so it's easier to use. So you can do NASCAR style, east to west, west to east, and random. Let's just do NASCAR, preserve the default settings, and yeah, that's basically it for that. Minimum track types, you can do your minimum track types here. Dirt surfaces is now its own kind of category because it can be any one of these configurations. And then with repeat venues, I added the ability to repeat track types. So you have that ability as well. So let's go ahead and generate a season. Like I said, it's going to take a little bit longer to generate this stuff because it's kind of got to go through all of its parameters and make sure that everything's accurate. But here's our season that it's generated for us. We've got our 36 races. So let's show you just some of the new stuff here. So we've got new colors. We've got our tag column. We've got our track type column, which is a lot more accurate. And we have our surface type column. So this is new. And then we also have a length column. I'm pretty sure this is new. I've done so many updates with this. So yeah, so the surface type is super helpful. Obviously, it'll tell you if it's dirt. We also have a dirt indicator here as a tag just for kind of quick identification, so you don't have to figure out what this is, because dirt can be any one of these configurations, as you can see. So we can do a shuffle list where it just takes all the selected tracks and shuffles them up. You can delete a race. You can add a track type. So let's just say you want to add 10 short tracks. You can do that. Give it a moment, it'll pick the 10 tracks and it throws them in at the bottom. So here they show up down at the bottom. You can see it picked another dirt track and two dirt tracks and a papyrus track. So let's go ahead and shuffle that up so it can spread those out a little bit. or we can actually just tell it to organize like a NASCAR style season progression. Yeah, so there you have it. So you can go ahead and let's nuke this list and get into the track manager. So track manager here is the way to activate and deactivate tracks from your active games, and you can bounce around between different folders and kind of view everything from a bird's eye view. So you're going to get asked to pick your archive library, which is kind of like your main backup of your master library, if you will. Anything you download, or rather anything that I download, usually ends up in one of these folders somewhere. It's a big folder. It's like 60 gigabytes. I think it's like 900 tracks or close to it or something like that. So then you're going to pick your active game folder. You can only have one active game folder at a time. And then you're going to have to pick a way to manage your deactivated tracks, because you can turn tracks on and off. So instead of deleting things, it gives you a way to manage it. So the recommended mode is it's going to create a deactivated tracks folder that lives next to your tracks folder here, and it will move the tracks back and forth when you activate and deactivate. Or you could do a custom destination. It has to be on the same volume. The deactivated folder has to be on the same volume as the active folder, but you could do a custom destination. You can do external management where you don't even mess with that and you just do everything through File Explorer on your own, or you can just use Season Generator only. It won't let you go into Track Manager. So let's just go into the Manage Safe mode. We'll use the default settings here. The first scan is going to take a little bit longer depending on how big your tracks list is. If it's massive, it could take a while. And then it's also hardware dependent too. So unfortunately on older machines that may be a little bit more limited, you might notice this be a little bit slower for you. I'm not using a brand new machine at all. My machine is like 2019, 2020 specs. So that was kind of 60 gigabyte load there. So you're going to be brought into the track manager here. You're going to have three main tabs that you're going to work with. It's going to be your master archive library, visualize. You're going to have your active tracks, and then you're going to have your deactivated tracks. So by default, you should probably have no deactivated tracks, but since I already have built this folder and have been using it, it's going to be there. But the first time you load it, this should be empty. So let's just check it out. So you have a couple different ways to view your library, your venue window here, your venue explorer. You could do venue cards, which will take matching tracks and put them under one venue card. So since this is all Atlanta Motor Speedway, they're all matching under Atlanta. And so this will work for tracks that have undergone like name changes as well over the years, so it'll keep track of all that stuff. And then you have your active tracks folder, which is just your active racing folder, and then you have your deactivated tracks. So when you expand them beyond the venue card here, you're going to see the tracks that are within a single venue. So it'll give you the status of activation. It's going to give you some other information here, and you can also see some quick access info up above. But let's just say you wanted to activate this track. So if you're going to go ahead and activate this, you just click that guy. It's going to do a quick refresh because it's now moved Ace Speedway 2005 into our active tracks folder. And what it does when it does that is it's creating a copy and then pasting into active tracks. So that's what we see here. So let's just say you don't actually need this in here. You can deactivate this. It's going to disappear. You're going to see a pop-up that says it's going to be moved to your deactivated folder. Just go ahead and do that. And there it lives, is in your deactivated folder. So you can just go back and forth. You can activate it and reactivate it, or activate it and deactivate it and reactivate it, whatever. And it all happens pretty quickly in the background. And it's just moving those files around in File Explorer for you. So this is just intended to give you a nice interface to do all that. So you can there's a bunch of different filters that you can use in here. There are, you can just search. You can do by chassis type. So if you want to do your unrestricted speedways, if you want to see all those, you can do that. You can filter by creator, which is I've found to be pretty accurate. It's not 100% perfect, but I found it to be useful enough that I think it deserves its own filter section. So, you know, you can filter by your creators here. So let's see, I've got like another one. Here's my project short track. And so, you know, a lot of these have multiple variations and what have you. So let's just say you're in one of these filter views and you actually want to see everything from a bird's eye view. You can just look at the venue list and it's going to give you a list of all the tracks here in alphabetical order, and you can kind of just see their status. You can mess with some of these parameters. So let's go into some of those parameters now. So it's going to give you the track. It's going to give you the folder that the track lives in, the year that the track is raced on, and then the length. And so you can adjust some parameters. You can adjust track type. Like if, for example, you know that one of these tracks is, let's say, for example, not a short track, even though we know it is, you can go in here and tell it that this is actually a mile oval. So, and the reason why it showed 2 here is because this is this is twice in my library. So I have duplicates of this. So there must be, I must have downloaded like a track pack and then downloaded another track pack that has both of these. So if you click one, it's going to show you the directory that it's in up here. If you click another, it'll show you, yep, so that's exactly what it is. So I have a Smithston tracks folder, and then I also have a project short track folder, and it knows they're exactly the same. So when you change something, it's going to change it on all relative files, but it's not actually editing the files in the background. What it's doing is it's just manipulating a JSON file for your preferences. So anything that you change in here, if you change the track type, if you change the surface type, if you add a tag to it, if you change the creator, the notes, the rating, anything, which there is also a rating system now, which you can do. So it's all going to get saved to this file. Where did it go? It's all going to get saved to this JSON file here. It's not actually changing the files in the background. So as you can see, since I have duplicates, it's going to apply all the changes to the duplicates, but you're not actually going to get duplicates when you activate a file that has 2 versions. Does that make sense? So if you have a duplicate in your archive and you activate one of them, it's only going to put one of them in your active tracks. And the duplicates are 100% exact duplicates. So you don't have to worry about like you're not getting the right version or whatever. So this is a internal file structure issue on my part. This means I just have duplicates in my file structure that I need to get rid of. So anyways, enough of that. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple other things here. So obviously you can click some of these things to show all of your, whoops, I've got a project short track filter here, so let's clear that. So let's go ahead and take a look at all my dirt tracks. You can do all of your fantasy and dirt tracks, for example, and so on. And then this will give you all of your tracks that have potential errors with the INI or anything like that. So go ahead and play around with those. It's pretty dynamic. You can do a lot of different things. We also have right-click menus as well. So if you need to rename a venue card, if you need to rename the location, if you need to merge 2 cards, you can do that. So if you notice that like maybe one should belong with another, you can merge this into this one. So those are all options that you have available to you, but let's go ahead and check out some of the tools here. So we've got a bunch of different options here. You can check out your archive library. It'll just open up the files and so on. Or you can do this file index. So this is kind of an advanced user thing, but this gives you a bird's eye view of pretty much everything that's going on in your track library. So, or in all 3 of the libraries really. It gives you all kinds of different indicators. It gives you options to filter by location. You can click the cells to adjust the organization type. And then if you want to learn about what some of this stuff means and what it all does, you can go into the help here and read all this, but to save time on the video, I'm not gonna go over that for now. You can check this out if you'd like. So there is that, and then yeah, that's about it. The only other thing I want to show is there's a diagnostics thing here in the tools that you can export a full diagnostics package. I've got my email here, so you can just export that diagnostics package and send it to me if you're having any issues with this app anywhere. I'm super dedicated to this thing. I've been working relentlessly on this for a long time now, and I'm really excited to release it. So if you have any issues with the app, just go ahead and send that to me. It's a pretty comprehensive app. It does quite a bit. So go ahead and just play with it all and just kind of mess around. Know that all of these changes, they don't actually change anything in your track ionize. They're not actually moving any of the important information around in the background. All it's doing is saving to a metadata file that it's going to be referencing first before it references any of the track ionize. Speaking of ionize, really quick, I guess I just want to show you that you can edit a track ioni, and when you do that, it's going to create a backup of the original. So it just creates this backup file as a capital O in parentheses, and then you can go ahead and edit your track ioni. So when you go ahead and save these values, you can go ahead and update your values here. You can save that and then close it out. Once it's closed out and you're like, oh, you know what, I kind of messed up some values, I don't really like what I did, you can actually restore the original data. And so it just keeps the backup in place and it copies the original backup information over. So you can go ahead and do that. Great. And then let's go ahead and edit the track INI. It's going to give you that same pop-up, but this time it's no longer going to have the box automatically checked because you have a created backup already. This exists. So go ahead and open that up, and now you can see that my test is gone because we restored the information. So yeah, that's basically it. Go ahead and play around with it. Let me know wherever you see this video. If you're having issues, feel free to email me, which is in the diagnostics package. You can see that there. And yeah, enjoy. All right, guys, thanks for watching.